WWE Backlash France is just around the corner, and at least on paper, it's shaping up to be a sneaky good B-tier WWE Premium Live event. This is a B-tier Premium Live event that has a total of 4 championship matches, and really the first B-tier pay-per-view that's had both men's world titles being defended on the show. This is one of the positives of not having Roman Reigns being champion. 4 out of the 5 matches are championship matches, and the 5th match that isn't the championship match involves 2 megastars in Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, and the biggest, most popular act in the history of WWE, arguably, in the Bloodline. So I'll say again, it's shaping up to be a really good B-tier pay-per-view. And personally, I can't wait to hear what the France crowd is gonna be like, because international audiences are traditionally amazing. So in today's video, we're gonna go through every single match, and I'm gonna give you my predictions on who I think is gonna win. And I do also wanna invite you over to Twitch, twitch.tv/SantiZap, where we're gonna watch this together as a community at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stop asking me what time that is in your local time zone, Google it. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring that bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know that you're gonna fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. Look, I already know that the top comment of this video is probably gonna be, what time is Backlash at in my time zone? Whatever, dude, let's just jump into it. Let's start off with the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match between the Kabuki Warriors, comprising of Asuka and Kairi Sane, going in as the champions, defending against the unstoppable team of Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I think that this might be the safest choice out of all of the matches that are on here. I think that this is a runaway victory for Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Frankly, I just don't see a world where the Kabuki Warriors can stop the unstoppable force here. They're setting up Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill to potentially be the most dominant pair of WWE Women's Tag Team Champions in the history of this sport. Frankly, if they do win, I think they're gonna back themselves up into a corner, because seriously, who in the blue hell could come together to form a tag team that could defeat Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair? Like, that combo doesn't exist. Maybe Rhea Ripley and, I don't know, Charlotte Flair perhaps? But obviously that's an unrealistic combination. So if Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair do walk out as the WWE Women's Tag Champions, I think that they're either gonna hold for a really long time, or they're gonna drop it after some internal conflict, kind of like how Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler did last year. But just the way that they're setting up the women's tag team division, to me, it screams loud and clear that they want to put these belts on Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. On top of that, I think it's also very abundantly clear that the WWE doesn't want to allow Jade Cargill, at least yet, to go off on a singles run. I just don't think that they believe that she is ready for that. So they need to find a proper reason to saddle her with Bianca Belair, because Bianca Belair is gonna have to continue to carry Jade Cargill through this initial run. And I think that the best way to make it make sense for these two to be together for an extended period of time, for Jade Cargill to learn from Bianca Belair, is to have them be a tag team for a long period of time by having them be tag team champions. Because if they were to lose here, then you have really no reason to keep Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair together. But if they're champions, then they can travel together, they can wrestle together, have promos together, so that Jade Cargill can learn from Bianca Belair, who is far more experienced in this game than she is. On top of that, the Kabuki Warriors, like, realistically just stand no chance against this team that is just so ridiculously overpowered, in my opinion. The only way I see the Kabuki Warriors maybe walking out at still as champions is if there's some sort of interference between the members of Damage Control, or maybe there is immediately internal conflict between Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, but I just don't see that being the case, because the WWE has made it at the very least seemingly clear to me that they need Jade Cargill to be with Bianca Belair for the foreseeable future. So if I were a betting man, I would take out 3 mortgages on your existing home, and I would put all of your money on Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair to walk out as your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I just want to throw this out there. If they do become champions, I'd love to see a world where maybe they lose because of that internal conflict to Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. I'm just gonna throw that out there, just to make the universe work its magic. Next up, let's look at the match between the Bloodline member Solo Sikoa and his MFT, still no idea what that stands for, Tama Tonga, taking on the team of RKO, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Here's a fun little fact about Backlash and the Bloodline. If you look back at the past 3 Backlashes, the Bloodline has been involved in all of them in tag team matches. We have this match here happening in Backlash France. Backlash Puerto Rico, there was a 6-man tag match between the members of the Bloodline, as well as Matt Riddle and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And then the year before that, it was another 6-man tag match between the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, and the Usos, taking on RK Bro Pro and Drew McIntyre. Just a little bit of Backlash fun facts in case you were curious involving the Bloodline. Here's the thing, I really feel like this match could only go one of two ways, and both ways end up with the Bloodline standing tall, but not both necessarily with the Bloodline technically winning in the books. My prediction is that the Bloodline is going to win. I think that's the safer choice considering this new iteration of the Bloodline needs to look like a set of badasses. They need to look like they can conquer everyone, including megastars like Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. They could also win not just by being dominant, but maybe by adding another name to their ranks in Jacob Fatu, who everyone at this point is saying is a signed member of the WWE roster already. So if you're gonna debut him, they debuted Solo Sikoa on the main roster at an international pay-per-view all the way back in 2022 in Clash at the Castle in Wales. Maybe we do that again in this international pay-per-view and we debut Jacob Fatu. And that could be how the Bloodline stands tall, with Jacob Fatu helping beat down Randy Orton and Kevin Owens and helping Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga pick up the victory. Another option is for Kevin Owens and Randy Orton to have the Bloodline on the ropes, and then Jacob Fatu slides in to help overpower the babyfaces, thus the babyfaces technically win, maybe via disqualification. But either way, what matters is that the Bloodline needs to walk out standing tall and they need to look strong. If this was the old iteration of the Bloodline, like, they don't need help. However, this new version of the Bloodline with new leadership, with new members, needs to make its stamp at a major show like Backlash. And I don't think that there's a better way to make your stamp than to leave a bloody Kevin Owens and Randy Orton while standing over their corpse. But I do foresee Jacob Fatu debuting at this show. That's my prediction, my little extra bonus garnish prediction. But I am gonna go with the prediction that has the Bloodline actually winning on the books here. Oh, such a thing of beauty. This is so much worse than I remembered it being. Oh! Okay, that sucked. This. Oh my God! The full WrestleMania 27 watch-along party is already available for your viewing pleasures over on patreon.com/SantiZap. And not just that, we already have the WrestleMania 30 watch-along there, and we have an upcoming Backlash watch-along as well. But we continue to add more value, as now you get access to the Wrestling is Cool Match Club as well that you get to vote on. But you also get the Raw reviews, the SmackDown reviews, and the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days earlier than everyone else. The Patreon has grown to over 1,200 members, so thank you so much for the support as we try to make it the best value for your dollar. Come check it out. There might be something that you like. Maybe just try it out for a month. Again, that's patreon.com/SantiZap, and back to the video. Next up, let's look at the WWE Women's Championship match triple threat between the champion Bayley taking on newcomer Tiffany Stratton, because it's Tiffy time, and Naomi. I think this is such a cool match that it even exists, considering this was not really even a possibility when you look at the landscape of the main roster as little as 5 months ago. Because 5 months ago, Tiffany Stratton wasn't even on the main roster. She was on NXT, and Naomi was Trinity Fatu over in TNA. So it's nice to see this new life being injected into the women's division and getting new people going after these championships. I like it. There's a few ways that I could see this match realistically going, and unfortunately for Naomi fans, they all involve Naomi being the one that takes the pin here. Because I truly believe that the WWE, Triple H, SmackDown, they see Tiffany Stratton as the next generation of women superstars to carry the mantle for the current generation. And if she's gonna be one of those flag bearers for women's wrestling in the future, then I think at some point or another this year, most likely, you gotta put a world championship on her. However, I'm of the mind that it's not quite the right time to pull the trigger on Tiffany Stratton, as much as I love Tiffany Stratton. I also don't think that her winning at a triple threat match, I don't think that's the best way to do it either. I think that you should really cement her as your flag bearer of the next generation of women's wrestling by winning in a proper one-on-one environment. Because this triple threat environment really lends itself to potential shenanigans where she could win the championship without actually pinning the champion, and I really believe that Tiffany Stratton should be a proper world champion that defeats the person actually holding the belt, that being Bayley. However, the way that the WWE has been setting up things and obviously telling us that there's some sort of off-screen and on-screen friendship between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax tells me that there's a possibility that Nia Jax could get involved in this match, and because it's triple threat rules, it's no disqualification, and Nia Jax could potentially be the reason why Tiffany Stratton walks out as the WWE Women's Champion. And honestly, I think that they could do what they were trying to originally do with Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, which is to recreate maybe the women's version of Shawn Michaels and Diesel. But again, I'm gonna reiterate this, I just don't think that it's yet the right time for Tiffany Stratton, even though it will be the right time at some point this year. Tiffany Stratton being a WWE Women's Champion is not a matter of if, it really is a matter of when. It's going to happen. But I personally think that you should have Bayley continue to be the champion, continue to add legacy and prestige to this championship so that it feels even more special when somebody like Tiffany Stratton dethrones her, maybe at a show like SummerSlam or Money in the Bank, whatever it might be. Plus, Bayley's run as champion is still just way too young. It's still in its infancy and it still needs to build up. And I think that victories like this, where she pins Naomi and we still protect Tiffany Stratton, is a good way to allow Bayley to pick up these victories, thus increasing the prestige of her championship reign, thus making it all that much more special when Tiffany Stratton eventually takes the title off of her. So with all that being said, this is a long-winded way of telling you that I think it's going to be Bayley, but I don't think it's an impossibility that it could be Tiffany Stratton. Next up, let's look at the WWE Undisputed Championship match between champion Cody Rhodes taking on AJ Styles. In my opinion, out of all of the matches that are on here, this is probably the most straightforward match that doesn't really have very many angles where it could go. I think it's Cody Rhodes winning. I think that's it. That's all. I don't think that it needs to be anything more than just that. The only way that I will place maybe an inkling of doubt in your brain is Cody Rhodes hurt? Because after his match against Carmelo Hayes, it looked like his shoulder wasn't 100%. And if that's the case, maybe it's not an impossibility that they need to take the title off of Cody Rhodes, but honestly, I don't even want to put that out into the universe. If Cody Rhodes is healthy, if he's good to go, there is, let me tell you, 0% chance that AJ Styles walks out as the champion. It just doesn't make any sense. Unfortunately for AJ Styles, the WWE has really put itself in a corner by telling us that Cody Rhodes is destined to have a championship feud with The Rock and a returning Roman Reigns and probably Randy Orton down the line, maybe Seth Rollins again. And if you know that all of those things are bound to happen in the future, then threats like AJ Styles aren't really threats anymore. This is about as a transitional feud as you could possibly get at this point, and that sucks for AJ Styles, but I do think that Cody Rhodes needs to get these victories. He's still in the early portions of his championship reign, and much like Bayley, he needs to rack up these victories so that when credible challengers like The Rock come back, it makes the match feel extra special. But you don't need to overthink this one. It's Cody Rhodes. That's it, nothing else. All I'm hoping for is for a good match that's really the best that I can ask for out of this match, because I'm not foreseeing any drama. Maybe they could try and bamboozle me with a couple of close calls, but I don't think those are going to work. I think that through and through, there's zero chance that Cody Rhodes is losing. I think if maybe I were to ask something out of this match is for AJ Styles to truly be a heel, him leaning on this, I respect your father type of thing. Just let him be a proper heel, like what he was doing with LA Knight. I don't like this in-between character for AJ Styles. Pick a side, dude. But yeah, Cody Rhodes, take that one to the bank. And last but not least, we have maybe one of the most unpredictable championship matches in quite some time, that being the champion Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against the challenger Jey Uso. I think under most circumstances, this should be very cookie cutter and very to the point. It should be Damian Priest, considering he's the brand new champion that just won a championship at WrestleMania of all places, just like Cody Rhodes. However, unlike Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest's reign is already tainted by the fact that he didn't properly earn this championship by going through a feud, going through adversity. He used the Money in the Bank briefcase. And because that's the case, his championship reign doesn't really yet have that legitimacy to make Damian Priest feel like a proper champion yet. So Damian Priest should be picking up these victories to help legitimize his reign as the World Heavyweight Champion. You would think at the very least, it should be that simple, right? However, the WWE has made it very clear that the top babyface on Monday Night Raw right now, and a guy that they clearly see a big future in, is Jey Uso. They made him the very first pick of the entire draft. He's really the top babyface on the Monday Night Raw brand, and on top of that, he's already exorcised the demon that stopped him from winning championships in Jimmy Uso at WrestleMania, and he's been officially taken out completely physically and probably mentally as well. So we don't foresee Jimmy getting involved in stopping Jey from winning a championship, and that's really been the only reason why Jey hasn't been able able to win championships. So if I'm telling you that Jay is the top babyface on Raw, he's the #1 overall pick, and the reason why he's been losing isn't a reason anymore, how could you not think that Jey Uso is gonna win? So I can sit here and make excellent cases as to why both should win, which is why this is actually the most unpredictable match on this entire card. It's so unpredictable that I actually want this one to be the main event of the show, even if Cody Rhodes is the big name behind this actual event. I get it, Cody Rhodes is the poster boy, he just finished his story, but if I want drama, I want to end it with drama. Let's end the show with Damian and Jay. I really believe that Damian Priest could benefit from having this championship for longer, that he could really be a good champion if given the opportunity. But when I'm reading the tea leaves of what the WWE has been presenting me, I actually have no choice right now but to take Jey Uso in this match. Really, the only thing that has me maybe doubting that is the fact that they may have planted the seeds of a future matchup between Jey Uso and Logan Paul, but Logan Paul isn't even on Monday Night Raw, he's on SmackDown, so I don't know how that could even come into play really at this point. Who knows, maybe Logan Paul interferes in this match and costs Jey Uso the match, but I just don't see that happening or really see it making any sense at the moment. Plus, Damian Priest is involved in this other storyline, the downfall of the Judgment Day, a story that I don't necessarily think that he needs to be the champion for in order for that story to be properly told. It sucks. I want Damian Priest to have a longer reign, but I'm gonna go with Jey Uso here, even though I do think that the odds-on favorite is DP, but my gut is telling me Jey Uso, folks. All right, folks, that's my predictions. This is your chance to let me know where you think things are gonna land. And don't forget to come over to the Twitch stream where we're gonna watch Backlash together as a community. The link will be in the description of this video. Au revoir. Je parlais un petit français. All right, get out of here.